Hey guys, Bluebridge here, and two questions I'm going to ask you. Huijsen or Guehi, Stamford Bridge or Earls Court? So let's get into it. Today's been about either or, so let's tackle the football inside first, the playing side, because there's a lot of talk about us being after the Bournemouth defender Huijsen, but it looks like Real Madrid are front runners for him. Apparently Liverpool are after him if Van Dijk goes, and obviously, and who else? I think Newcastle may have been interested in him, but it depends on what report you're listening to, because according to some reports, Real Madrid are worried about Chelsea and they see them as a major competition for Huijsen, and some other reports have said Chelsea have totally given up on Huijsen and will be concentrating on Guehi. So Guehi or Huijsen, which one would you want? Stick it in the comment section below. So there's pros and cons for both. I think potentially, if you're looking at it, Huijsen looks like he's going to be a next generation defender. 6'5", I believe, very good on the ball. At a young age, only 18 or 19, he's already looks like he's going to be the real deal. And the fact that the likes of Real Madrid, Liverpool are after him, it shows his potential. And I do believe that he's going to be top draw. But on the flip side, do we need another young player? Do we need another, but again, we're talking about potential. If he fulfills that potential, it'll be exceptional. But we've already got Ansel Mino as well. We just bought. He's come with a big reputation from Argentinian football. We've already got the likes of your Fofanas. We've got Sarr coming in as well from Strasbourg. So when you're looking at all these young defenders, we can't play and develop all of them at the same time. Whereas getting in a Guehi, he's 24, he's captain material, he already captains Crystal Palace, played at Chelsea before, he knows the club. Okay, maybe not as old, not as young, he's a bit older, 24, but he's not like 27, 28, but he's got experience because he's been playing football since I think the age of 18, so he's got a lot of games under his belt, and so he's probably more what we need. Although, as I said, potentially Huijsen's probably going to become better, but for our needs now, then I would say Guehi is probably the better buy for this point of time. As I said, we can develop our other defenders. So I do believe in Sarr. I haven't seen a lot of Ansel Mino in Europe, but in Argentina he looked exceptional. So we just can't just buy everyone as well. We can't, especially around the same age, because they need playing time. These players, these youngsters, need playing time. It's imperative that they get playing time. And if we bought Huijsen, he's not going to be bought to sit on the bench. He's going to be wanting first team football. Okay, he probably would not get that much opportunity at Real Madrid, but if you look at the Real Madrid defence, you look at the likes of Rudiger and players like that, they are a bit older. They're getting older, so he knows that there is a pathway. At Chelsea, if he's competing with players his same age, around about his same age group, then is that really a pathway? And I even forgot to mention Achampong and all that when I was mentioning the defenders that we've got at our disposal already. So for me, as good as he is, I prefer to get someone in with a little bit more experience, because that's what the club is lacking at the moment. As I said, what do you think? Stick your comments in the section below. So let's move on to the other story, because Todd Bowley yesterday was speaking for Bloomberg, and he mentioned about the stadium, and one of the things he mentioned was that it's difficult to build on Stamford Bridge. We all know that there's some issues around about building at Stamford Bridge, so he did mention maybe moving away. Earls Court's been mooted. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, we've discussed this Earls Court situation before, and it's not going to." They already said it's not going to happen. But I've heard some other reports. I don't know. Again, it could be conflicting, but where they are open to have a football stadium at the council feel that it would be good to have a football stadium at Earls Court, and then maybe Chelsea do a deal where they can develop the Fulham area where Stamford Bridge currently is situated, and that stirred up a lot of debate amongst a lot of Chelsea fans, especially the match-going ones against the non-match-going ones. I did a big video on this a few months ago, actually, so I won't spend too much time on it. If you want to see my in-depth views on this, then I'll stick the video up at the comment box above, so you can watch that one. But just to sort of paraphrase what I said in that longer video was, and I've been to Stamford Bridge many times, sat in all areas of the ground, so I've got that attachment. But I also realise that there are clubs who are building bigger stadiums. Man U are building 100,000 stadia. Tottenham have already got 60,000. There's talks about Arsenal improving I think it's, the amount of people they've got. They're going to be overtaken by Everton in a couple of weeks' time, at the beginning of next season, when they move into their new stadium. I think even Leeds are talking about having a big stadium. There's no way we're going to compete at Stamford Bridge playing in front of 40,000 when other clubs are going to get 20. If some clubs are going to get over double in match revenue than what we're getting. So, what do you want? Do you want to sentiment and just to be a mediocre, or do you want to show some ambition? Because if we don't, those fans who are saying, "No, we need to stay at Stamford Bridge at any cost," I prefer that above anything. Don't be moaning when we start to buy mediocre players and sell off our top players just so that we can compete. Because we're not, as I said, we won't remain competitive if we don't start getting in that match day revenue. So I want to see our club progress. That's why, if we do move, as I always stated, it has to be Earls Court. If it's not Earls Court, then we got to do all we can to redevelop Stamford Bridge. Because one thing that I wouldn't stand for is to move away, which is more than 3 or 4 miles away from Stamford Bridge. Because for me, that's not on. Because if you're looking at the way that Poli was talking, there's not that many sort of greenbelt areas, places to where you can build a football club. So if we can't do it in and around London, if Earls Court isn't viable, then there may be talk of taking us somewhere else, because we don't want to become another MK Dons where it's moved so far away from where the true fans are, because you'll totally lose that connection with the fan base. So for me, if we can strike a deal with Earls Court, I'm up for that. So that's my opinion on it. So what are your guys' opinion on it? Would you be happy to move from Stamford Bridge or to somewhere like Earls Court? Would you even be happy to move further afield if it meant staying successful? Stick your comments in the section below. So guys, those are the two stories. As I said, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, let me be notified every time I make a new video. So take care. Bye bye.